Aggregates serve as boundaries between logical groupings within our application. We enforce these boundaries by prohibiting direct references to objects within an aggregate that aren't the root of the aggregate. Consider the customer with the address. It's perfectly okay for customer to reference address. Address might be an entity or it might be a value object. It doesn't really matter in this scenario. What's important, though, is that the only way to get to the address in this aggregate is through the customer. We won't be referencing an address by some identity outside of this aggregate, but that's not the case for customer. Since the customer is the aggregate root, it can be referenced from other aggregates.
In this common example, an order might reference a customer. Depending on our context, it might make sense for a customer to reference an order. But in
One
this case,
common way
let's
to
assume
enforce
it only makes
aggregates
sense for
is
the
to
order
replace
to be
direct
central to the
navigation
application's design.
properties in the model's
What's not okay
non-root
is
types
for the order to
with key
reference the
references.
customer's
This
address
reduces the
directly.
number of
This
dependency
violates the
relationships
integrity
within
of
the
the
model.
customer aggregate.
Remember that aggregates and aggregate roots only apply to objects, not data. And when we're talking about references, we're talking about object references, properties that use an object directly. This is especially important with ORMs. For example, if you were to save an address that had a customer object attached to the customer property, there are scenarios in which Entity Framework would involve the customer in the database insert or update, possibly even a delete. And this behavior leads to a lot of confusion. I frequently advise developers to just remove the navigation property and use the foreign key ID instead. It's a little more work, but removing some of the ORM magic results in more control over the behavior. And this aligns perfectly with the fact that one common way to enforce aggregates is to replace direct navigation properties in the model's non-root types with key references, and this reduces the number of dependency relationships within the model.